Hello everyone, welcome to the lecture 3 on Module 5 circuit breaker. In the last class we had discussed the different types of circuit breaker. After that we had discussed the air brake circuit breaker. Today in this session we'll be discussing the sulfur hexafluoride circuit breaker, the vacuum circuit breaker and the air blast circuit breaker. SF6 circuit breaker. So SF6 means it is a sulfur hexafluoride gas. It's exactly a gas which is going to act as an air quenching medium for quenching the arc. So this gas is an electronegative and it has high dielectric strength to absorb the free electrons. So this is very effective for the high voltage application ranging from 33 kV to 800 kV. So basically the circuit breaker will be having two contacts, the fixed contact and the moving contact. Now in case of SF6 circuit breaker, which is sulfur hexafluoride circuit breaker, these two contacts are enclosed in a chamber called as R interrupting chamber, which is filled with SF6 gas. Now to this arc interruption chamber, there will be a connection given to an SF6 gas reservoir. So a valve mechanism is placed between the arc interruption chamber and the SF6 gas reservoir. So the valve mechanism allows the gas to flow from the reservoir to flow towards the arc interruption chamber. So the SF6 gas circuit breaker are most suitable for high power service, and they are made up in the range of 3.6 kV to 760 kV. The types of SF6 circuit breaker. There are three types of SF6 circuit breaker which are listed below. We shall discuss these three one by one. The first one is non-buffer type, second is single pressure buffer type, third is a double pressure buffer type. Non-buffer types SF6 circuit breaker. So this has an interrupter part which wherein the arc quenching process is going to take place. It consists of two contacts, the fixed contact and the moving contact. Both the contacts are in hollow cylinders. So the fixed contact has arc horn as we can see in the figure. The moving contact has rectangular gas outlet. It has some gas outlet over here. The outlet is used wherein the gas after the process of arc extension moves out of these rectangular holes which are present on the moving contact. So the main arcing process is done in the arcing chamber. So the arcing process is done in the arcing chamber over here. So an aseptic gas reservoir is connected to this particular arc chamber by using a valve mechanism as discussed, right? So the valve is synchronized with the moving contact of the circuit breaker. So the valve which is present between the reservoir and the arc chamber, that valve is synced with the moving contact of the circuit breaker. So it means that as soon as the moving contact separates from the fixed contact during any fault, the valve of SFC gas tank will automatically open and it allows the flow of gas to let into the arc chamber. That is the construction now. Let's look at the working. So initially the contacts are in closed position and it is surrounded by a sulfur hexafluoride gas at a pressure of around 2.8 kg per centimeter square. It is before the fault where the contacts are closed. So when the fault occurs, then the moving contact begins to separate from the fixed contact. So by the arc interruption method, the surrounding medium which is present between the moving contact and the fixed contact begins to ionize, and there will be arc struck between the contacts. So the valve which is connected with the SFC gas tank will open and pressurized gas will come into the arc chamber. So the moving contact is connected with the synchronized with the valve. So as the moving contact moves, so the synchronized valve also opens up. Therefore, a huge amount of pressurized gas will come in the arcing chamber. So now the pressure in the chamber is around 14 kg per centimeter square. So now the aseptic gas will flow through the arc, it will quench the arc in a very short time, right? And after the extinction of the arc and the interruption of the current, the gas moves out of the gas outlets which are present on the moving contact. So this is how the construction and the working of a non-buffer type SF6 circuit breaker works. So this is the construction part. This is the working also, where we have just passed that slide. Let's look at the single pressure buffer type SF6 circuit breaker. So in the previous one we have discussed the non-buffer circuit breaker. So here we'll be looking at the single pressure buffer type circuit breaker. So here you can observe we have moving contact and fixed contact and moving contact. They are close actually, and there is a movable cylinder which is connected with a fixed piston, right? And in between these we have non-compressed SF6 gas present, and here we have some nozzles. So a movable cylinder is placed, which is also known as puffer cylinder. A fixed piston is connected with the puffer cylinder. So the fixed piston is connected with the puffer cylinder. So the gas is filled in between the movable cylinder and the fixed position, as we can see here. So initially the gas is at a normal pressure now. So there are two nozzles which are present to pass the gas during the operation of a circuit breaker. Now let's look at the working here. So when there is a fault in the system, so the contacts of fixed and the moving contact are going to separate. So the moving contact is going to move away from the fixed contact. Because of that, there will be an arc stuck between them, as you can see here on the right side. So the moving contact is moving away from the fixed contact, so there will be an arc stuck, right? Okay. So because of that, the movable cylinder will also move along with the moving contact. So because of that moment, what will happen is that the SF6 gas which is present between the movable cylinder and the fixed piston will start getting compressed because of the fixed position of the fixed piston, right? So after some time, the nozzles on the movable cylinder will open due to the gas pressure. So the SF6 gas will come out through these nozzle and will pass through the arc here. Therefore, the arc is quenched by the SF6 gas. So the flow of gas will reduce the cross section of the arc, and also it will cool the arc. So at the same time, it is going to increase its dielectric strength of the SF6 gas, and finally the arc gets extinguished. So this is a simple construction and operation, the working of a single pressure circuit breaker. Now we look at this is the construction working. Now we'll be looking at the double pressure buffer type circuit breaker. So in case of single pressure type, there is only one pressure, but in case of two pressure, but in this case there are two pressures which are used as shown in the figure. So now we'll be looking at the construction and the working at the same time here. So in this type of circuit breaker, there are two nozzles which are placed over the current carrying contacts. So these are the current carrying contacts, the moving contact and the fixed contact. So the two nozzles are placed over the current contacts. So these nozzles are made up in such a way that the flow of gas speeds up when it passes through them. So the gas is going to speed up its speed when it is passed through them. Now the SF6 gas is filled both the sides at different pressure level. Okay, but the pressure P1 is greater than pressure P2. It means that the gas will flow from P1 to P2 side. So during the fault system, so the contacts starts to separate and arc will be stuck, as we can see here. So the gas will flow through the arc. So the gas is going to flow through the arc and the nozzle will speed up the flow. Therefore, the sulfur hexafluoride gas, that is SF6 gas, will extinguish the arc. So this is one simple construction and the working of a double pressure buffer type circuit breaker. This is the working and the construction part. Now let's look at the properties of SF6 circuit breaker. So when you look at the properties in terms of physical property, the gas has no color, no odor, it is non-toxic and non-inflammable gas. It has excellent heat transfer property. Chemical properties. What are the chemical properties of SF6 gas? It is chemically inert, it is chemically stable at atmospheric pressure and temperature, it is non-corrosive on all the metals at ambient temperature. What are the electrical properties? It has high dielectric strength, which is 2.5 times greater than the air. It has arc interrupting capacity. The dielectric constant is independent of the frequency of the applied voltage. Next, we'll look at the advantages. The advantages of SF6 gas circuit breaker over the vacuum circuit breaker. So it has low maintenance cost, no risk of fire as it is non-inflammable. The gas has good insulating properties, less arcing time. The strength of the gas is 2 to 3 times that of air, that can interrupt much larger current. Noiseless operation, it is ideal for interrupting current, suitable for outdoor installation. Disadvantages of SF6 gas circuit breaker. The cost of the gas is very high. It needs cleaning periodically. So the additional equipments are required to recombine and recondition the gas after each operation. So once the gas is been passed through the arc gets quenched and the remaining gas is passed through it is taken out from the gas outlet and it is combined and reconditioned with the reservoir which is present over there. So the reconditioning of SF6 gas is done after every operation. In imperfect joint may lead to leakage of gas, right? Then the SF6 gas is poisonous. Arced SF6 gas is poisonous. Now what are the applications? Applications of SF6 circuit breaker. It is mainly used for the application of power distribution control, line protection of power circuits, for the protection of transformer, capacitor blocks and rectifier circuits. Vacuum circuit breaker. It is also known as vacuum interrupter. It uses the arc quenching process in the vacuum as a switching medium. So the vacuum has the highest insulating strength. So it has far superior arc quenching properties than other medium. So the degree of vacuum is in the range of 10 to minus 7 to 10 to minus 5 torr. So it is suitable for medium voltage power distribution ranging from 22 kV to 66 kV. But when you look at the SF6 gas or the SF6 circuit breaker, they are effective for high voltage application, which are ranging from 33 kV to 800 kV. Right. Now let's try to look at the working of or the construction of a circuit breaker. Construction of circuit breaker. The circuit breaker consists of fixed and moving contact, fixed and moving contact, the moving contact and an arc shield. Arc shield is mounted in a vacuum interrupter. The outer insulating body is made with glass and has a high vacuum capacity. The movable members, that is the moving contact, is connected to the bellows. So the arc shield prevents the deterioration of the internal dielectric strength by preventing the metallic vapors from falling on the inside surface of the outer insulating body. So to reduce the leakage permanently, the tight sealing of the chamber is done. Contact uses a large stem with disc-shaped focuses. You can look at disc-shaped focuses. So here the heat is dissipated for large overload current during the arcing period. Now let's look at the working. So the working of the vacuum circuit breaker is where the arc quenching is done using a vacuum interrupter. By the name itself, it can suggest it is vacuum circuit breaker. So the operation of the vacuum circuit breaker depends upon the stored energy mechanism, which is using closing spring. So the charging of the closing spring is done electrically or manually. So the closing spring recharges automatically after the operation of the circuit. So the tripping push, there will be a tripping push button is going to activate the spring immediately after detecting some high voltage and breaks the circuit. So the auxiliary switch contact and the primary contacts are separated. So the auxiliary contact provides a signal to the external equipment to initiate the shutdown or alert the user to break the circuit breaker. So the circuit breaker contacts are separated, arc is formed between the contacts, ionization going to occur, because of that high temperature increases, and because of that there is an arc formation. So the space is filled with vapor of positive ions due to ionization, and it discharges from the contact material. So the arc is extinguished quickly because of the metallic vapors. Ions produced during the arc diffuses in a short period of time. So this is how the vacuum circuit breaker works. So this is the construction part. Working. Advantages: it is compatible, reliable, longer life, low risk of fire, small switching stroke, it has high dielectric strength, easy maintenance, arc extinction is very fast. Cost of VCB will increase if the voltage exceeds around 33 kV. So the loss of vacuum can cause entire current interruption useless. Now we'll look at the air blast circuit breaker. In this air blast circuit breaker, it uses a high pressure air as an arc quenching medium. So in this type of circuit breaker, the contacts are separated and a high pressure air is forced on the arc through a nozzle to quench the arc. So once the high pressure is forced on the arc, it cools the arc and the arcing products are blown away by the blast of the air. The chamber is filled with high pressure air after the extinction of arc, which prevents the restrike. So here, in case of air, we can also use other gases such as nitrogen, carbon dioxide, and hydrogen, wherein the circuit breaking property of nitrogen is as similar as to air, but there is no added advantages of using it. If I take if you use carbon dioxide will tend to freeze, and the hydrogen gas is very costly. Therefore, air is the cheapest medium which can be used in an air blast circuit breaker. Now, the air blast circuit breaker may be of the following two types. One is the cross blast circuit breaker, and the second one is the axial blast circuit breaker. So here we can see there are two contacts, the fixed contact and the moving contact. So there is an air flow between these two, there will be arc struck, and there are some splitters which is going to act as a chute. So in this type of circuit breaker, the air is going to be blasted at a right angle to the air, or it will be perpendicular to the arc. So the cross blast lengthens and forces the arc into a suitable chute for the arc extinction. So the figure shows a typical cross blast circuit breaker. So when the moving contact is withdrawn, an arc is struck between the fixed and the moving contact. So high pressure cross blast forces the R into the chute, where the chute consists of arc splitters and the baffles. So the splitter serves the lengthening of the arc and baffles gives the cooling or provides the cooling for the arc. So this results in the arc extinction and the flow of current is interrupted. This kind of interrupting high current is up to 100 kiloamp. Now we look at the axial blast circuit breaker. So the figure shows the essential components of the typical axial blast circuit breaker. So there are fixed contact and the moving contacts which are held in a closed position by the spring pressure. So the arc reservoir, which is over here, is connected to the arcing chamber by using an air valve. So the valve remains closed under the normal condition, but is going to open automatically when a fault occurs on the system. So when the fault occurs in the system, the valve which connects the circuit breaker reservoir, when the fault occurs, there is an opening of the air valve which connects the circuit breaker reservoir to the arcing chamber. Right? From the air reservoir, it will flow to the arcing chamber. So the high pressure air entering the arcing chamber pushes away the moving contact. So because of the high pressure air, it will make the moving contact to get separate against the spring which is over here. So the moving contact is separated, and because of that there will be an arc stuck. At the same time, the high pressure air which is coming from the air reservoir blast flows along the arc and takes away the ionized gases along with it. So consequently, what will happen? The air is going to extinguish and the current flow is interrupted. Again, the construction part. So there are two types of subtypes which are shown in the figure. One is a single blast. This is a single blast. This is a double blast. So air blast circuit breaker have also been commissioned for 1100 kilovolt system. Now the air blast circuit breaker advantages. It eliminates the risk of fire. Operating speed is high, requires less maintenance, suitable for the frequent operation, short and consistent arcing time. It is cheap as we are using air as a medium. The disadvantage, the air compressor needs to be maintained every time as the operation takes place, and it is going to produce a huge noise when the air is discharged. Thank you.